Hey, what up, guys? On Fight Pass, February 27th, you're going to have Anderson Silva versus Michael Bisping in London on Fight Pass. I think this fight should either be on free TV or pay-per-view because it is a big fight. These two dudes have fought some of the best fighters in the world, and I don't know why they're on Fight Pass, but we're going to get into it right now. When you look at this fight and you break down what these guys have accomplished, you have Anderson Silva, which is 34-6, and Michael Bisping is 28-7. And the reason why I think these guys are on Fight Pass is because nobody else on this fight card or people really know. Like, if I click on these guys, nobody knows of any of these other fighters that are being on this fight card. So I think that's why they're putting these guys on the Fight Pass. But reality check, no one's going to watch it, and it's going to be one of the greatest fights no one's ever seen. It's the same thing that happened to Frankie Edgar versus Uriah Faber. It was on a Fight Pass card, and no one watched it because on a fight card that no one even cared about. So when you click what Anderson Silva has done, Anderson Silva has fought some of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And when you click on Michael Bisping has had an up and down record in the UFC. But ever since he became a UFC fighter in 2005, he's dominated almost every fighter he's been in. And he goes on like 3 to 4 fight win streaks, but never ever gets a title shot. And me personally, they're giving title fights to other fighters that possibly don't deserve it over Michael Bisping. Look at it this way. How many times has Uriah Faber gotten title fights? A lot. How many times has Kenny Florian got title fights or Frankie Edgar get title fights? A lot. How many times does Michael Bisping get title fights? Almost none. Michael Bisping has a skill set to beat Anderson Silva. I think he can beat the Anderson Silva that is fighting in 2015. Will we actually see Anderson Silva in this fight doing the bobbing and weaving and just going out there and being flashy? Or will he just knock out Michael Bisping quick? But if Michael Bisping actually comes in hungry like he normally does and starts swinging and uses the combos, he has the ability to win. I've said this multiple times. I said this for years, that out of the 185-pound division, I think Michael Bisping is one of the only guys I could see beating Anderson Silva. And I think nowadays, in 2016, when this fight happens, he has the ability to beat him. Anderson Silva, I mean, if he beats Anderson Silva, do you guys think that automatically grants him a title fight? I really do. I think he deserves a title fight. He's never got one. And I listed a ton of people earlier that has gotten title fights, from Frankie Edgar multiple times, Uriah Faber multiple times, and I know those guys are very popular, and I know Michael Bisping is a very popular fighter, but it's either he doesn't get a title fight ever in his UFC career, or he'll get one title fight. And one other thing I want to talk to you guys is, how come at UFC on Fox, like 17, when you see Nate Diaz fight, he only got paid $20,000. And at the end of the day, after he pays all his training partners and pays for his plane ticket and pays for everything, he's walking away with probably like $10,000 for that fight. And his brother's saying he's getting ripped off because other fighters are making way much money than he is. And his brother's really saying that he needs to be making more money because, look at it this way, he used to be making a lot of money. I think Nate Diaz actually at one point was making like $100,000 a fight, and now he's only making what, $20,000 and $20,000 for bonus. That to me is completely utter crap. You can actually see a lot of fighters nowadays are actually making less money than they were making, and you could say as a normal person, well, $10,000 is good. Okay, but that's the only time he's fought all year. So in 2015, he made, what, $10,000 for the whole year? That's borderline poor right there. If you actually look at that, people on welfare are making about the same amount of money as Nate Diaz did in 2015. It's sad that this happens, that the UFC doesn't care about some fighters. And then you look, that's why a lot of people are calling out Conor McGregor, because they want the big money fight. They want to get paid. And I understand that. I understand $10,000 can go a long way if you're paying bills and you're paying for your girlfriend and you're doing this and doing that. You can make a decent living with $10,000. That's only very little, but that's why you gotta be making a lot of money when you're in the MMA world, because sometimes you might fight twice a year. You gotta make 50 grand, 60 grand to support yourself. So at the end of the day, I think Nate Diaz got ripped off, and he should be making more money than he actually did in that fight. So I'm Trevor, man. I just want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Why do you think they're putting that fight on Fight Pass when I clearly will show you everybody else on the fight card? Nobody knows who these people are, especially me, and I'm a big MMA fan. For one reason and one reason only, it's to sell the event, because nobody's going to buy this event if it was nobody, because all these people that are on the fight card are either people no one's heard of, or they're just lower class MMA fighters that are trying to make a name for themselves and possibly be a name someday. Me, I wouldn't pay for this event. I wouldn't watch it just because I don't know anybody. The only fight that I care about on this fight card is Anderson Silva versus Michael Bisping, and I'm going for Michael Bisping in this fight card. And a lot of people are telling me straight up that I should be betting on these fights. Now I know you can go to DraftKings.com and actually bet on these fights. So I'm probably going to bet a little bit of money, maybe $1 or $2, and see if I actually do win something. Because I think, from what a lot of people's telling me, a lot of friends, a lot of people on Periscope, they're like, dude, you need to be betting on these fights, because I predicted the win between Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor. I predicted the fight between Nate Diaz versus Michael Johnson, and I was like, yeah, Michael Johnson in the weigh-ins didn't look like he was confident. He looked like he was overthinking the fight. Like, yeah, I'm just going to beat Diaz. Diaz ain't nobody. And then I called the Holly Holmes fight. That was one of the biggest upsets I've ever called, and I was real. You can go back to my MMA Underground Facebook page, and I clearly posted at 10 o'clock that night saying Holly Holmes is going to win, and everybody's like, idiot. And it's like Conor McGregor says, baby, you got to be obsessed with your craft. And if you're obsessed with what you're doing, you're going to start growing and you're going to start getting successful. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm picking Michael Bisping. And if I predict Michael Bisping to win, then all you cats in the comments are going to be like, holy shit, Trevor is for real. He knows his MMA. But I'm out of here, baby. Just letting you know, like Conor says, you got to be obsessed with whatever you do in life to make it. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.